everybody? I'm here, man. Took about a couple of weeks, but I'm back. I got lucky enough from the story that we told last week about the girl sneezing on me. I was lucky enough to get Omicron. So it kind of sucked, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, it sucked, man. It just
well, here's the funny thing, dude. You caught Omicron. I caught COVID. I've never been vaccinated. I had some mild symptoms. You were vaccinated and you got sick as fuck. So Fauci doesn't know what he's talking about.
Double vaxxed, and yeah, man, I felt like shit, man. It was like, listen, man, Omicron's not like you're gonna die, man. It's just like you just feel like shit, you know. It just lingers. It's a lingering thing. But you know what? I feel great today, and I'm ready to rock and roll, man. We have a lot of great topics, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna start out with the GOAT. Who know the GOAT is? Tom Brady, brother. Tom Brady, man. You know what I like about Tom Brady? He's not selfish, you know? Like he's getting paid. He's got Giselle. He's got the supermodel wife. He's got life. You know, he's got it. He's got life by the balls, but he takes care of his own players, which is nice. And I think that's why everybody wants to play for him. You know, Antonio Brown's a douche because, you know, if you can't play with Brady, look what Brady did. He knew that Gronk needed a couple of catches, and Gronk needed a couple catches, and what else did he need? Completions, whatever it was. But he said he's not getting
yards and completions. Yeah,
yards and completions. He said he was not getting out of the game till Gronk hit his $1 million incentive. That's awesome, man. You know that. God bless him. I'd want to be his teammate.
That was funny when they showed that on the game on the TV when he was on they showed him mouthing it. The coach comes up and says, "We're pulling you." He goes, "Don't take me out."
Yeah. And you know what? And that just shows you that he's a team player. It's all about him. I mean, he's given away a car before when they gave it to him when he won the Super Bowl. They gave him a car because he was the MVP, and he gave it away to the guy who made the catch, Malcolm Butler. Who does that? And he gave $1 million incentive to another player, a Disney World incentive that did something. So he is a team player, man, and that's why everybody wants to play him. That's why he's the GOAT. You know?
Yeah, man. I mean, and look at that. He doesn't have the receivers. They win a game. Right when he doesn't have, that's what the definition of the GOAT is. He doesn't have all the. It's not like LeBron who needs all those support players to even get into a playoff team. You know, Brady doesn't. That's the definition of a GOAT. He doesn't need great players around him. He just needs people that are accomplished in a sense, and he can get it done under any circ. That's the definition of a GOAT. Get it done no matter what.
Yeah, and like you said, that is the reason he left a Patriot organization. Everybody said it's Belichick, it's Belichick, it's Belichick. Belichick sucked dick, and this guy killed it. You know, and he won the Super Bowl. He won the Super Bowl during the COVID season, through all kinds of adversities, and you know, he did it. And with the guys he never played against, it was amazing. You know? What are you doing? Exercises over there?
Yeah. Just doing some lunges. I want to be the GOAT. I want to be the GOAT myself.
Like, fuck this. I'm motivated. We got Rocky on over there. He's doing stretches, lunges. But hey, listen, and let me tell you something. I think this cemented him for the MVP. They're talking about Rodgers and they're talking about Brady. Listen, Brady has 1,000 more passing yards. 1,000. That's not like 50 more passing yards. They have the same exact record. Aaron Rodgers laid an egg against Detroit, the worst team in football, okay? Brady won the last game of the year, okay? They have the same exact record. Brady has 1,000 more passing yards, and he has 7 more touchdowns. And he played with his team was hurt all year long. He hasn't had the starting of 5 players, the Gronk and all them, all year. He's had injuries all year long. So I think personally that Brady should win it.
Yeah, well, we wouldn't have thought you would have said anything else, Mark. I mean, honestly. But yeah, I mean, listen, Aaron Rodgers, 2 great quarterbacks, man. And, Aaron Rodgers, I mean, had a great game too this past weekend too, you know.
Nah, he had an okay game. He had 180-something yards and a couple touchdowns. He was okay. Listen. They showed statistics. Brady has 36 playoff victories. Aaron Rodgers has 13. You're talking about 3 times more. I don't think they're in the same category. And I think the MVP is the most valuable player. And I think Brady is the most valuable player. I mean, I think he showed it. And at his age, and he's still doing it, he gets it. Talking about someone who's go. I'm sorry.
No, just saying, most valuable player is basically the player that the team would not be able to win if that person wasn't on the field. And he's definitely the MVP. I mean, come on.
Listen. Green Bay has been good for many moons. They were good with Bart Starr. They were good with Brett Favre. They were great with Brett Favre. They were good with Aaron Rodgers. Tampa Bay is the worst franchise in sports history. In all sports, worse than the Clippers, worse than the Browns. Look it up. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the worst team in sports history. He took a team that was the worst in sports history and won a Super Bowl. Boom. End the story.
Yeah, and
But
they finally got rid of those red and orange uniforms. Oh my god, those are horrible.
yeah, that's hideous. Those are hideous. But talking about a guy that I don't think is the MVP, and he gets so much credit. People like to compare him as the greatest, and I don't think he is the greatest. I really don't. I think he's always had to have a team around him. I mean, he's great. I'm not going to, say he's not great. He's great. But LeBron James, he's a crybaby. He
Mhm.
always has, he always has to have the super team around him. And I don't know. He is great, and I'm not going to say he's not great because then I'd sound stupid because he is great. But he's not at the caliber of a goat. I think Jordan is a better player.
I mean, physically, the guy is one of the most probably one of the best physically equipped basketball players in history, right? And all that
Without a
shit.
doubt.
Mentally, though, no. Mentally, he's a fucking putz. Mentally, he's a flopper. He's a crybaby. He's a cramp getter. He needs to. He complains about now. Now look at this story now that LeBron James. I mean, what a few weeks ago he threw somebody out of the game with 2 minutes left because he didn't like what they were
Oh,
saying.
woman. A
Oh,
woman.
you fuck,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
fucking baby. And then I guess the announcer at the game, I was in Boston, made a reference to one of the players, Porter, that he knew when to play, he knew when to press the trigger, and I guess a
Yeah, yeah.
reference to his father who shot somebody, and whatever the guys,
It's fair
but
game.
who?
If your dad shot somebody, it's fair game. Comedians are allowed to say things. Listen, your dad shouldn't have shot somebody. It was a little joke. It was probably uncalled for, in
Right.
that setting. Oh, well, people say dumb things all the time.
And
And who is
who the
he?
hell does LeBron think he's the president of the NBA? I mean,
Yes.
he just I mean, that's why Miami didn't want him anymore. He wanted to rule the house in Miami, and Pat Riley was like, "No, you can't bring in your crew to the fucking locker room. No, you can't own the stadium when you're here. This is a fucking
Yep.
team, okay?" And that's why Miami didn't really want him back, and pissed me off. I was a season ticket holder at the time, but at the same time, I mean, he's a fucking listen, the guy is a teenage mentality. People say, "Oh, he's a brilliant. He's got all this money." Of course, he has all this money. Look who he is. You know what I mean? That doesn't. You don't have to be a genius to acquire. You know, you want to bring up money. Let's see what he does after he's out of basketball. You know,
Yeah.
I think he's got a lot of people around him that's helping him invest in stuff and like
Yeah,
manage his portfolio.
it's not like he's doing a lot of these great athletes like Magic Johnson and Shaq, but Shaq is a genius. But a lot of these players, they have great people around them. That's
Yeah.
the difference with the people have money after they're playing and not. If you get the right people around you, and one thing I will give LeBron credit for, I will, and I don't like him, but I'll give him credit. He has stayed out of trouble with the law. He has done certain things, he has done certain things right. I'll give him credit for that. But comparing him to Michael Jordan, it's not close.
No, I mean,
To me,
some people have said that to me when, we talk bad about him on the show. It's like, he does a lot for charity. Yes, great. He should. He's a fucking billionaire. He has a
yeah,
school, for the kids in Akron in Ohio. Fantastic. Maybe he should open schools in Chicago, which we're going to talk about today. But that's all good and that's expected when you make that much money and you're that big of a person on the global stage. There's somebody who's going to tell you, "Hey, you need to do this kind of shit." That's just expected. That's not that's great, but it's to be expected. But when
yeah.
it comes to his personality, oh, this person should be fired. Go fuck yourself. You're gonna try to take food from somebody's family. You're gonna
And
suggest somebody lose a job over something they say. Shut the fuck up,
And
LeBron.
who the fuck is he to say anything about it's not listen, if the NBA wants to fire this announcer, then it's on them. He's not the final say. Half the NBA have felons. They all have felons for beating their wives and doing drug deals, DUIs, and they're worried about what this fucking guy said. Fuck. I
He
mean,
want he want
seriously.
he wants he wants the guy to be fired for what he said about that. Meanwhile, LeBron James tweeted that he wanted harm to befall a police officer, and
Yeah,
actually put a
yeah, yeah,
target on his fucking head, saying he's next. And
yeah, yeah.
he has the nerve to say that what this guy said is an offense that's fireable. Again. That's the kind of nonsense that makes that it's this kind of every time he opens his mouth, right? It just brings
Yeah.
him down a little lower
A
and
notch,
lower
a notch, yep.
and further from the GOAT position.
And I think that's
That's my
part of being the GOAT. I think that's part of being the GOAT. I think part of being the GOAT is what you do on and off the field. That's how I feel about it. I think if,
sure.
there's been a lot of great players, a lot of great players. Allen Iverson was great. There's a lot of great players, but what you do off the field, and that's why I put guys like Peyton Manning and Tim Tebow and Shaquille O'Neal and Tom Brady, because what they do off the field is just as important what they do on the field. And then they played the game the right way. They played the game the right way. And you know what? If you're a great player, you don't have to give yourself all the credit in the world. You don't have to tell everybody how great you are. Brady doesn't do it, and LeBron always has to tell everybody he is the guy. And that's part of the whole thing. Talking about head cases, because we think he's a head case. What is up with Antonio Brown? Has he lost his fucking mind?
He's imploding.
How many chances do we have to give this guy? How many chances does he get? No more. Hopefully, no more. But seriously, I mean, if you can't go under Brady's wing and do it the right thing, then you're fucked. Then you're done. You're done. He's done. He's done. I hope no team ever picks this guy up again.
I don't think he will. And well, somebody desperate, maybe, but here the thing is, Brady backed the guy up when this all happened. Brady's like, we should care about the guy, and then he
Yeah,
throws him
yeah,
under the bus. And
exactly.
Antonio Brown, he's throwing all his players under the bus. He's saying, so and so screwed me. They just used me, this and that.
And what my
I mean,
favorite one was, Doug, my favorite one was he went on to a talk show, one of these talk shows, and he was like, well, what's Gronk getting paid? He tried to make it a race thing. It sounded like he was trying to make a race thing. He was like, well, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. I'm the best player. First of all, you're not the best player. Second of all, you have so many issues. We took a chance on you. Gronk is not fucking having rape accusations. And Gronk doesn't tell you I'm not going in the game. Gronk had a punctured lung and he was playing, so you can't compare yourself to Gronkowski. You know what I'm saying? You're not the same player. You're not. We took a chance on you and you fucked it up again. And that's why
Gronk,
Pittsburgh, great team, could never win with Antonio Brown. And they had Ben and Le'Veon Bell. They could never win because he was always, give me the ball, give me the ball. Fuck you. You get the ball when you get the ball.
yeah, I guess that's why he got pissed, right? Because he wasn't being targeted enough in that game. And then when they asked him to go back in, he didn't want to go. Listen, don't fuck with Gronk. The only thing Gronk's pissed off about is that he can't get a membership at the USAA insurance company. And when you watch those commercials, do you see the size of Gronk's hands? I
I
mean,
met Gronk. He's huge. I met him in person. He came to my hotel room. We were hanging out. Gronk is. It's not that he's like he doesn't look as big as he has with pads because he's huge. He looks like a polar bear. He looks like you open a cage and a polar bear just comes out and he just starts running. Like you can't
dude,
do nothing with this guy. He's a polar bear.
he's got these hands like he's got two baseball mitts on. I mean,
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
commercial, he's doing the commercial, and all you see is, "Come on, man, let me
yeah.
be a member of the USA. Come on."
And let me tell you something. What a nice guy, bro. He hung out in my room with us. He's just a super nice guy. And that's, you know what? And that's what people want. And that's why Gronk gets paid what he gets paid. He doesn't
Yeah.
talk back. He doesn't cause issues. And that's part of the game, too. When you become a distraction, it diminishes some of your talent.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we talked about LeBron, he's a bit of a distraction. I
Yeah.
mean, that's why you got to work all together. There's always a team leader, of course, but sometimes a
Yeah.
team leader knows when they let their other players shine.
Hey,
It's
I'll
funny.
tell
I don't
you
know if
one
you heard.
thing. I'm sorry.
Go
I'll tell
ahead.
you one thing. Gronk is not. I mean, I'll tell you what Gronk is not doing. He's not banging prostitutes that have COVID the night before a game. Maybe that's why they're paying him the big bucks. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
that he's not doing that.
breaking NFL protocol by having it says here an influencer claims Antonio Brown snuck her into his hotel room and that now she has COVID. So a real hot chick gets in there the night before the game against New York, and Antonio Brown does his thing, chicken,
And I'm
and
sure that
bangs the shit
happens
out.
a lot. I'm sure that
Oh,
happens a
they
lot in the NFL.
yeah. I mean, listen, but they're not supposed to. But now she has COVID. She says he probably infected the team. Um, but I mean, who doesn't want to get a little? I mean, if if you're single and I was an NFL player, and I mean, if a hot chick, but that's it. That's just breaking the rules. That's just part of the rules. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
And that's what it's all about. If you can't follow the rules, that's a sign. That's why the guy like that's in so much trouble. He can't follow the fucking rules. He's special. He thinks he's
yeah.
special.
But that's funny you said that with the hooker and everything because I remember an old story. I read Lawrence Taylor's book. It was a great book, by the way. And he tells a story about I think they were playing the Steelers or something as a playoff game, and they were playing them, and they'd say we got to slow down Lawrence Taylor. So it was like 1 in the morning. So they brought two hookers and like a bag of coke to his room. We figured, okay, he'll be out for the night. You know what I'm saying? He snorted all the coke, banged the two hookers till 8 in the morning, and still sacked everybody and won the game. So it kind of backfired. It backfired, but that's a funny story, Oh
Yeah,
my
that's not
god.
a good never good to do cocaine before an athletic event,
Well, maybe
at
it
least for
is
24
because
hours.
hey.
Well,
So what's going on
during
with
it.
Alec Baldwin? What's going on with Alec Baldwin?
Well, I think everybody saw that pathetic interview he had on ABC News, right? Where he says he didn't never pulled the trigger. The
Yep,
gun went off by itself, the immaculate gunshot, as we called it. But
yep.
now, his cell phone, that they had a search warrant to retrieve his cell phone, and he has not complied. He says he will comply, but at the same breath, this is what liars do,
Sure.
and criminals
He's
do,
hiding
and people that
something.
are
He's hiding something.
evading,
He's hiding.
exactly, people that are evasive. I can say, no, I got all these pictures on my family on here, and oh, shut up.
Hillary
There's
said the
definitely,
same thing.
yeah,
Hillary said the same
you know,
thing.
I mean,
Doug, when you're innocent,
yeah,
no, I'm saying when you're innocent, you'd be like, here's my phone. Let's just straighten this shit out right now. I don't have nothing on my. If you're innocent, you're truly innocent. You want the
hmm
world to know you're innocent. When there's some shit hiding, you're doing some crazy activity. Then you're hiding something. Then you.
especially under
Let me.
these circumstances. Especially under these circumstances, he's got the world against him. You would think he
Yep.
would go to every means to prove his innocence. So he's not, and like, oh, of course I want to give him my phone, but I don't want to give him the phones of me and my wife and my kids and my emails and me yelling at my daughter when I'm all drunk and calling her a fat pig and shit.
But we know that already. But listen,
Can't,
Kim Potter's got all this time in prison for an accident. For an accident, he should get time in prison. Listen, if we're giving accidents now, the guy that was driving without drinking got with the DUI, whatever it was, not the DUI, he did time 110 years. If you're getting time now for accidents, it's time to let's give him some time. Why
yeah,
not?
no, I think America needs to see him behind bars.
Yes.
That's otherwise that is part of how society just doesn't trust the elites, and
Yep.
there's got to be consistency, right? I mean, when we see these things, here's a guy he was completely negligent. He was given a
Yeah.
gun, he didn't check it. He's a know-it-all stupid. He's a know-it-all. He's a know-it-all a douchebag. And then the worst part is he comes out and he tries to blame it. So it's going to be fine. It's going to be somebody else. I don't know who it is, but it's going to. It's like when
Yeah.
OJ said, "Yo, I can't. Can't wait to help find out who actually killed them two." You know.
Yeah, you know what? And it doesn't sound like he has any remorse about anything, and it's like he's trying to blame other people. You know what? If he really did it by accident, and it was really an accident, he'd say, "Listen, this was
Yeah.
an accident. Here's my phone. Please check it out. You might find some of the shit not, nothing to do with the case, and they're only looking for the case. Okay, if you smacked your dog, they don't give a fuck right now. They're worried about this case, and you'd want to clear your name. And I think
Yeah.
this is worse than Kim Potter because Kim Potter did it out of adrenaline. She wasn't malice. It wasn't she just made a mistake and then they gave her all this time. This guy should do time. I'm sorry, he should do time.
Absolutely. Under that same precedent.
Yep,
Um,
exactly.
hey, speaking of useless people, boy, first of all, I'd hate to live in Chicago for a number of reasons. But
Oh,
I'd hate to
for
live
what?
in Chicago if I had children that had to go to school. These people got everything. These teachers in Chicago got everything. They jumped the line when it came to getting vaccinated. They got billions of dollars. Where our Mayor Beetlejuice is trying to have to explain where all that money went. But
Yep.
she is pissed too. Mayor Beetlejuice is mad at them. Like, you people need to go to work. You can't just sit out of school. You know, this is what happens. You have to. This is your fucking job. This is your profession. A
You chose it.
fireman can't. Fireman or a police officer can't go. Oh, you know what? I don't feel safe. I'm not going to go to work anymore. I
Yep.
mean, go to fucking class. Teach the fucking kids. Wear your fucking mask. You know,
Yep.
society's in shambles, and these people. It's not safe. I don't feel. Well, quit. They
It's an
should run.
excuse.
Biden, if he had any balls, he should do what fucking Reagan did and just fire all the fucking school teachers in Chicago. Say, go fuck yourself. You're out. You don't want to go to work?
This
You're right. You're too dangerous. Stay the fuck home. And then
and there's
just
always
hire
somebody
new
take your
people.
always somebody take your place, always, always.
Imagine how
And
much. Could you imagine if they got rid of all them fucking teachers and they finally found new people and to start doing the job? And say, okay, well, I'll take the job. You could probably cut your payroll in half, right, and get some
and it
teachers in
and I hate
there.
yep, and I hate to tell you what they're teaching in school right now anyway, anybody could do it right now. They're not teaching anything anybody can't do. I can tell you how bad Trump is and how great Biden is. You can get anybody to do that, tell you how racist America is. That's not hard to
Yeah.
teach,
No, it's
you know?
listen, teaching is a very admirable profession and everything, but this year with everything going on, it's kind of turned it into a little bit of a ugly situation,
I
unfortunately.
think it used to be more admirable than it is today. I think all the teachers I'm not gonna say all because all is not a great word, but, yeah, I'm not gonna say all, but I'm gonna tell you something. It's changed. Teaching has changed quite a bit, and what they're teaching right now in 2022 is a lot different what they were teaching when
Yeah,
we were kids. Yeah,
yeah,
you know?
it's scary. It definitely is. And you know what? That's what I said. Let's get rid of them. With this, we saw this thing this year. The kids were home doing school at home, and parents started realizing what the fuck they were learning. And they're
Yeah.
like, "This isn't good."
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
you still have people out there going, "Oh, there's no such thing as CRT and all this shit." Come on, man.
They're
Just
saying that they're not
let's
teaching it. Exactly. That's what they're
yeah,
trying to say. That's what the liberals are saying, but it's being taught, and the families are stepping up. But a lot of families are stepping up because the kids are finding out it's not right. Kids know. Let me tell you, some kids are smarter than you think they are. And a lot of kids know it's not right. But you got to talk to your kids. You got to tell your
yeah.
kids that what's right and what's wrong. So it's part of the parent's job too.
Yeah, exactly. As a parent, you better, if anything, it's a wake up call to parents to not assume.
Yep.
If you're not involved with your kids' studies, it's time to get involved with the
Get involved.
studies. Hey, let me see what you're doing for homework. Hey, why don't you share with me what you learned in class today? Mom, I don't want to. Come on, let's sit down. Let me know what you're learning in school, for God's sakes.
And if there's a
Either
problem with their
either the teachers are banging the kids in high school, either they're fucking them or they're fucking
learning,
them up. One of the two. These fucking teachers.
I know the last couple that were banging the students were pretty hot, man. I never had a hot teacher. Maybe I was an ugly kid. I don't know. I always thought I was a good looking kid, but I never had one. But first of all, I don't remember in Coconut Creek having a hot teacher. Did we have a hot teacher? I don't think we
There was
had
a
one.
couple. There was a sub. There was a couple subs that would come in
Were
that
they?
were, yeah.
They're all old. Our teachers were all old, but I don't remember a hot like 26-year-old. Coming, hey Mark, stay after work. You know what? You got this wrong. We need to work
Yeah,
late today. Yeah, and these
yeah.
kids are stupid. Why do they open their mouth? If you're getting laid, by your teachers, keep it quiet. Keep it to yourself.
If you're 15 years old and you're getting laid, especially by an
You're
older
right.
woman, you ain't
Yeah.
keeping quiet. Yeah, yeah. Good luck keeping that kid shut up. You know. And by
That's
now, you
funny.
would think the teachers would learn that too, right? Like, listen, if you're going to bang a
Exactly.
kid, listen, if you're going to be banging a student, you got to do like the stripper rule. Like, if you're ever going to date a stripper, 2 weeks. That's it. 2 weeks. If you're dating a stripper, I don't care how hot she is, how freaky she is. 2 weeks, and you cut it off. That's it.
There you go. Well,
Learn
just
that
so we
rule.
know, me and Doug are not condoning what's going on in the schools. We're just saying it's going on. So there's no.
Yeah.
So just so you know, everybody say, "Oh, I can't believe they condoned it." We're not condoning it.
Uh,
We know it's wrong, but it's happening, and I think it's you get less time if you're a hot chick than if you're an ugly guy. If an ugly guy bangs like a 14-year-old, you go to jail for like 50 years. If a hot chick
yeah.
does it, like, just don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
We'll have you pick up some trash for 1 hour and we're done. That's how
It's true,
society
man.
is. Hey, so a woman runs across New Zealand in under 21 days. I don't think I could drive New Zealand in 21 days.
Well, really, I mean, how big is New Zealand's a pretty big. It's its own
Huge.
island, right? Isn't it its own island? It's not part of. There's no two different countries on New Zealand, right?
I don't know. I know nothing about geography. All I
Yeah.
know is if it's more than 10 miles, me and you can't do it. That's all I know. And, I don't know if I can run Margate in 10 days. I mean,
Run,
maybe.
run, run. Who needs run? I hate when I go somewhere and they tell me, "Hey, this is in walking distance." I'm like, "Is it in the parking lot?" I mean, I circled around. I was going to an open mic last night, and I was trying to find parking. And I'm like, I circled around for 20 minutes so I didn't have to park so far away, man. Who run? But listen, what else you gonna do? Maybe this person doesn't have the ability to to code. Maybe this person doesn't have the ability to do great things but run. It's like Forrest Gump, you know?
Yeah, yeah, run, Forest run. But the funny thing about it is, but some people just enjoy running. I go for long walks. I'll go for like a mile walk, a mile and a half walk. I My knees aren't what they used to be because I played a lot of sports all through school, and I played sports, as I got older. So my knees aren't. Don't make. I see the joke you're ready to come up with my knees, but I know you, Doug. I see it. I see it going. My knees have been really.
Yeah.
Hey, no, so I can't. I walk a brisk walk, and that's I can walk for maybe a mile. But New Zealand, I can tell you right now, I won't be running New Zealand anytime soon. And Doug, did you collect comic books as a child?
Oh yeah, man. I collected Marvel. I got a bunch.
Really? What's some of the books you
Yeah.
collected? Who'd you like? Who's your cast?
Well, I collected Iron Man. I collected Spider-Man, of course, Captain America, the Avengers,
Nice, nice.
X-Men, the Defenders, which was the Hulk, the
Yep.
Torch, no, something like that, and there was the Invaders, which was Captain America, the Torch, and Submariner, which is like Marvel's version of Aquaman.
Nice. Because the only reason I said that to you, comic books just set a record. $500,000. A Hulk comic book sold for $500,000. And that's a record for a comic book. Baseball cards have hit up to 11 million, but for a comic book, I think a Batman sold for over 1 million. But this is one of the highest. It's the highest for a Hulk comic book, at least. But that's a book that you probably had. You probably had that book growing up.
My problem was I was stupid. I never knew how to save things. My mom used to play bingo, so I used to get my comic books and take the bingo marker and mark the comic books. That's stupid, And I
But
didn't
that's
put
why
them
it's
all in
worth
like
money.
plastic sleeves. I didn't put them in plastic sleeves. I put them in a bin. I didn't know any better.
Yeah, yeah. But you know what? No one knew any better, and that's part of the reason why they're fetching this kind of money. I just sold a card 2 days ago, Derek Jeter card for $10,000, one baseball card. So
Wow.
the hobby's great. The hobby's good with that. It's setting records, all kinds of records, because a lot of people are getting involved in it. That's why. You know.
Hmm. Well, I have to go check. I'll have to bring in my Marvel comics to you someday and see if any of them are worth
We'll have to check it
anything.
out. Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Well, this British Bachelor, people who are single are desperate. You know what I mean? It's a great story about the British Bachelor uses a billboard to search for a wife. Hey, everybody, come and shag with me. I'm single and I got enough money for this fucking billboard.
Doug, if you had a couple $1 billion, you'd have a billboard. You know.
Well, yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, first of all, I don't know how anybody could be single nowadays.
Oh
It's got
yeah,
to be
with all
rough.
the internet. Yeah, there's a woman for everybody. I don't care if you have an eye patch and a hook hand and you masturbate to comic books. There's a woman that's into that. She's like, yes,
Yeah.
you masturbate to Pokemon. I do too. Let's hook up. Let's have breakfast. So there's actually a woman for everybody right now. You're right. I mean, they made it real. When we were younger, you had to go to a bar, you had to buy a drink. Now you just swipe left, you swipe right, and you got 3 girls at your house in 5 minutes.
That's right. When
You know.
Mark and I were 10 years old, we go to bars and we'd still pick up women because we'd use our brother's IDs. Um,
Exactly. No,
yeah,
when you were
man.
10, you looked like you were 21. You got away with you had a
I,
mustache and you at 15, you looked like you were 30. So you never had a problem, Doug. I look like
I
a
know.
pubescent. I look like a little child.
I know. I was one of those first guys that had hair on his chest and his face. Um, yeah. And I was lucky. I said my brother was like 5 years older than me and we looked a lot alike. So I'd use his driver's license to get into strip clubs when I was like 13.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
the
yeah, so
memories.
that's exactly, man. But you're right because today I see kids are spoiled. First of all, porn when we were kids were like Victoria's Secrets catalogs. This was like porn for
Yeah.
us. Now you just get on the computer and you can see, people juggling with clowns and the goats, and you can see anything you want to see now, any kind of porn you want. It's like there's too much porn now. There's too much. When we were kids, I remember finding a piece of a Playboy when I was like 16, well, maybe
Yeah.
14. And I was like, yes, I think I see a nipple. Hold on. Let me look at this.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a nipple. Yes. I was so excited,
You look
you
at the
know?
same magazine for 3 years. You just keep it under your bed and you look at the same
Ex-
thing over and over again. Now you go on your iPad, you can look at gangbang porn, lesbian porn,
Anything you want.
POV, point of view porn, stepdad porn. I mean,
Now they have the
Jeez.
glasses, they have the goggles now that you wear, and it looks like you're actually having sex. It's like, kids are spoiled, man. They're just spoiled.
Yeah,
They don't know how
no
lucky they
doubt.
have it. We didn't have it like that, Dougie. So we're finishing up now. We're gonna come up to the soldier who had the letter delivered to his widow 76 years later. A little late. Mail's
Yeah,
slow.
sorry.
You know what?
Sorry.
I don't know. Mail's really slow.
Yeah. Fuck. Let's hear it for the postal service.
Exactly. Oh my god. Can you imagine that getting it's like Back to the Future. You're getting something 70 years later, you know? Oh, that's
Yeah, that's
hilarious.
why she probably had him killed. "I'm gonna kill him because he never wrote me." Oh, he did write me. Where did
Son of
this
a
happen
bitch.
again? Where was this out of?
Oh, I
Was
don't know
this
what state
US?
it yeah, I think it was the United States. I don't know where in the United States, yeah. The United States Postal Service. World
You
War
ever
II
have that
soldiers.
happen? You ever, like, text, like, your girl or something, and you're like, "You never text." That happened to, like, a week or 2 ago. My wife's like, "Honey, I text you." She goes, "You didn't text me. You didn't text me. Yeah, text me."
And
"Oh,
2
shit,
hours
you
later, it
text me."
shows up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a box come
Uh,
back today, actually. A box that we shipped out in October, and it came back today. It came back today where it didn't to get delivered, and that's 3 months ago. So, I mean, 3 months ago and 75 years is quite a difference, you know, but, yeah, who knows?
Yeah, well,
Uh,
hey, it's all relative.
yep, and our
Um,
last story today, I'm sorry, go ahead, Doug.
yeah, no, this is great. One of the hardest things for a man to find is a woman's clitoris. And,
Yes,
I don't know,
I've heard
I remember finding it maybe because, I had 3 older brothers, and, I don't know if I used to watch them try to find it, and, I you know what I
you
mean?
watched
But
them try to
it's
find hold on a second, hold on a second, let's get back on that. How'd you
what?
watch your brothers No, no, I can't let you off on this one, bro. Maybe you slipped up, so I'm just letting you I'm gonna let you defend yourself on this one.
Alright.
I'm
Well, listen,
confused, I'm just
there were times, when we lived in Margate, we lived in Margate. It was I had 3 older brothers, so I was the youngest, so there's a few times when I shared a room with my brother would sneak a girl in the room, and I'd act like I'm asleep. You know what I mean?
okay,
And you wa and then there's so many times these were years ago, right? In the late '70s, early '80s. There was no water beds or foam or memory foam. There were spring beds. So, it'd be funny. I'm in home, watching TV with my mom and dad on the couch, and all of a sudden you hear
So
my
your mom
mother would
and
go,
dad were
"Oh,
home?
Yeah,
They would do oh, yeah, I never
what are
did
my
that. I
parents
never
gonna do?"
No, I know, I just
Yeah.
I couldn't get an erection with my mom and dad in another room. I mean, I just couldn't do it.
Did you ever get
I've
caught?
never done
Did your mom or dad ever
I
catch you?
I've had women in my room when I was younger, but I've never deed because first of all, I couldn't get it up thinking that my parents were in the other room. Just the fact that they're one door away, they're just a one handle away from catching me would just ruin everything, you know? I just couldn't do it. Yeah.
I used to get my mom used to go when I was in high school, my mom used to go grocery shopping on Friday, so I'd come home early. When I come home from school Friday, I know I had a few hours. And I remember one time my dad caught me they opened the door and I was there knee deep. And when your dad catches you, you're like, "Hey, dad, look what I'm doing." But you know what I
But
mean?
isn't that funny,
But I
Doug? Isn't that hold on real quick, Doug? But isn't that funny because you made a statement? Isn't that funny if your dad comes in and he catches you? He's like, "Yeah, good boy." Now, if that was your sister and your dad walks in, she's getting an ass whooping, he's getting an ass whooping, he might get shot. The double
somebody's getting
standards that we have in America.
Yeah, yeah,
Think about
I remember my dad just looked and went, "This isn't right," and he walked out. I remember I got caught though at a girlfriend's house. I don't know if I told this on here before. I told it, but it's a funny story because we were in the pool and I was performing oral on her. She was on the edge of the deck and I was, going, putting my face in there and everything. And she ended up telling me
we
like
know what
that.
oral is, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think I caught COVID from you. Um, but, so she ended up telling me, she's like, "Oh my god, my dad was home and he saw what happened." And I'm like, "Why?" If that was my dad, he would have made noise, or some shit. I wonder how long he watched. And then it was funny because every time I'd go to the house after that, I'd walk in the house and go, "Hey, is there anything good in here to eat? You guys got anything good to eat here in this house?"
Hey,
Yeah,
by the
baby.
way, my nieces, please don't watch this show today. My mom and dad, please don't watch this show today.
But
And
we're talking about the story, but dolphins, right? Lovable dolphin, not the Miami Dolphins, who,
okay,
but dolphins have huge clitorises. Uh,
poor
they're
feel bad for the male dolphins.
No,
They
I
probably have
mean
some issues.
they're easily found. They're big. They're very prominent. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a big door knocker. Like when you come to somebody's house, like, "Oh, there it is," and you're knocking on it. But no wonder dolphins make that noise, because their
Always
fucking clitoris is always yeah, the clitoris is floating in the water, every time they swim. That's why they're always so happy and jumping out of the water and back in because 'cause they're getting ooh, ooh,
have
ooh.
it going on, dolphins. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's great. I mean, so listen, if you're ever having sex with a dolphin, and again, not a Miami dolphin, you shouldn't have a hard time. You should not have a very hard time finding the
You can't
clitoris
if
of the
you can't
dolphin.
hit the spot on the dolphin, then you need some training, If you miss the
Yeah, if you
spot on a dolphin, you're done. You're done.
yeah,
Right, Doug?
if you're exactly, if you're a, if you are a male dolphin and you're not hitting it, no
That means somebody
excuses,
else is gonna
man.
be hitting it for you. And also, you have a story here that Viagra may help, COVID. Now is this something that
Oh, yeah.
you've been told? Go ahead, I wanna hear about this.
Well, this was, I read there's some studies. It's not, it's not like the American CDC or somebody saying, hey, but it has to
Dr.
do with
Fauci
like
said
blood. Yeah, not Fauci,
this?
but it has to do with flow, like, blood flow and stuff like that, and but it usually helps a little bit, like getting, oxygen to the lungs, more blood, and all that kind of stuff, so it said it's a bit helpful. Somebody got in trouble, of course, liberal news media is like, "How dare you say this and misinformation," right? Uh, which is, it's kinda crazy. By the way, speaking of that, you are one of the highest rated TV shows, news shows is Tucker Carlson, right? One of the top
I think it is a
producers of,
tough
and
and
he recently got in a lot of trouble because Nancy Pelosi was on this interview, and if you watch her, she looks like fucking Michael Jackson. So
oh gosh, that's
on the show he posted, there was a view, there was a s- there was they caught Michael Jackson on live TV. He's supposed to be dead, and they showed her with her fucking eyes all fucking done up. Oh my
terrible.
god. And they're
And
blaming it's funny because the liberal news sources are saying, "Oh, how dare he poke fun at," "Oh, really? Oh, really? All those years of making fun of the orange man and Trump and shit
yeah,
and all the stuff
yeah,
you say about
that
Trump,
was
you
fun.
can't say something about Nancy Pelosi who's a fucking train wreck? Come on, man. Give me a break."
Every talk show, Jimmy Kimmel, Fallon, every Conan, they dog Trump out their whole monologue. And the minute you get back on one of their own, that's it. You're done.
Oh, yeah. How
But
dare you?
exactly. That being said, we did our half hour, man. A pretty funny show, man. What do you got going on, Doug?
Oh, man, this weekend I'm gonna be at my local club here at Greenville Comedy Zone. I'm hosting for Carlos Mencia, who's here
I love
Friday
Carlos
through
Mencia.
Sunday.
I love
Yeah,
I love
and
him.
his opening act from Miami, good friend, Florida comic Cisco Duran will be there as well. So it'd be good to see those guys here. I'm going to be back in Florida next week, and got some things going on. So I don't know. I don't know if we're doing a show every. By the way, Stella, I don't know if we're doing a show every other week now. Tell our listeners if we decided that or not. But yeah, next week I'm trying to remember where the hell I'm going to be. Um, Next week. But go to DougieAlmeida.com is where you can find all my dates and follow me at Dougie Dangerous on Instagram and
Yeah.
Twitter and TikTok at Funny Fiduciary. Catch all the dates.
You know what? We all need some humor, man. We lost Bob Saget. I've heard mixed things about Bob Saget. I've heard bad things about him and I've heard good things about him. I don't want to spread the bad things because I don't know if they're true. But it's sad that he went. We don't know how he died. They said there was no foul play, but I hate to see a person die, no matter who he is. But
Yeah,
hopefully the
65 years old. And I mean, everybody on the comedy world that I know has just said what a sweet guy he was and a nice guy so far. So, and my close friend, Will Schreiner, who knew him really well, was very distraught about it. And yeah, they said they found him laying face up on his bed, one left arm over his body, the other one right. No foul play, no drug use. Who
Mhm.
knows? It's
Yeah,
just you never know when it's going
I
to
know
happen,
he's
man.
Yeah, and they'll probably blame it on COVID because he had COVID a couple of weeks ago, and I'm sure they're gonna blame it on COVID, but we'll see. But the report will come out, and we'll find out. Me,
Mm.
I'm doing what I do all the time. I'm buying and selling baseball cards, trying to buy that Hulk comic book. Probably had it once. We're here at 418 North Federal Highway. Bring your stuff in. We'll buy it on the spot, and that's it, man. That's it. We will do the show every 2 weeks until further notice, only because just got a lot of things going on right now, and I think the show is better when we spread it out. We have a little more topics and we have a little more energy. And that's about it, man.
Cool.
Peace out, everybody. Boom.
Yeah, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our fan page on Facebook. Please share the video and help us go viral.
Yes, please.